All right, everyone, so we just discovered our ideal diet plan to get you down to your ideal weight. Again, just to recap, if you want to weigh 150 pounds, it's 150 grams of protein, 75 carbs, 50 grams of fat. And if you want to weigh 180 grams of protein, 90 carbs, 60 grams of fat. And again, for the 120 pounds, 120 grams of protein, 60 carbs, 40 grams of fat. So, and all of this will go based on what your specific plan is, and these are just examples. So maybe you want to weigh 130, maybe you want to weigh a 190 or 175. It all depends on you, but these are just general guidelines on what to expect. So I weigh 155 pounds, but my goal, my weight is always 150, so that way I'm always going to be skinny, and this is enough protein to keep you going. So how do you use these numbers? So what you want to do is take your numbers that we just went over. So like for instance, for me, it's 150 grams of protein, and then I got 75 carbs, and then 50 grams of fat. So what you want to do is you're gonna have 5 meals a day. So basically, I have my meals like at 9 a.m., noon, 3 in the afternoon, 6 in the early evening, and then one last meal, 9 o'clock at night. So this is a 12-hour span of eating. So there's no intermittent fasting in this plan at all. This is like we're eating all day long. We're just eating evenly, well-balanced meals all day long. So it's, almost like common sense in a way. But I know a lot of people skip breakfast and they have light lunches and they have big dinners, and that's not the way to go. You want to have even food all day long and even have your bigger meals in the early part of the day, which I'm going to explain to you further more as we go into this video. So we got 5 meals throughout the day. We got 150 grams of protein to eat. So on average, every meal is going to have 30 grams of protein. So, and I'm going to show you how to plug in these numbers when we create our own meal plans. So these are just average numbers to go for. So we got 30 grams of protein in every meal. So 75 carbs right here. Over the course of the day, 5 meals, that's only 15 grams of carbs in each meal, and that's not really much to go after. So 15 grams of carbs, I mean, like a slice of bread is like 11 carbs if you get the cheap bread. But I'm just saying, like 15 carbs in every meal is not a lot. So what we're going to do is instead, and this is actually be super helpful, is we're going to have all of our carbs early in the day. So like the first 3 meals of the day at breakfast, lunch for noon, and then your second lunch at 3, we're gonna have 25 carbs in every meal. And then the last 2 meals of the day will be low carb to no carbs. So, and these are just examples too, because like my meal at 6 is yogurt and it has 6 carbs. So I'm not saying we're not gonna have 0 carbs. I'm just saying there'll be low carbs and 0 carbs the best as possible. So for breakfast, our first lunch and our second lunch, we're gonna have 25 carbs, or aim to have that in the first 3 meals. And then the next meals, we're gonna do our best to hit 0 carbs, but if we do have a few carbs here and there, it's not that big of a deal. So that's gonna be part of this diet plan. So then we got 50 grams of fat over the course of the day. So we're gonna aim for 10 grams of fat in each meal. And so this is just a good average on what to aim for in every meal. Now, this is not going to be perfect every time, and rarely is it ever perfect, where it's 30 grams of protein, 25 carbs, 10 grams of fat. Like that almost never happens. But I'm saying at the end of the day though, we're gonna have 150 grams of protein, 75 carbs, and 50 grams of fat. And again, this is like for whatever numbers you are. So if you weighed 120 or 180, and those are examples I use, just divide it by 5, and then like that's gonna be all across the board. So follow this structure and just kind of get this basic little plan down, because we're gonna punch in these numbers according to like the food items that I'm about to show you. So one more tip though, before we go on further, is like another good reason why we have all of our carbs in the middle of the day, right here, right? Is because like, I mean, your first 3 meals a day are going to be your heavier meals. And then your meals later in the day are gonna be lighter. So the reason we do this is because at noon is when your metabolism is at its highest. And so like at 9 o'clock in the morning, you still have your metabolism is still good, but it's only going to keep ramping up as we get to noon. And then all the way up until 3 o'clock, that's when your metabolism is at its highest. So during these hours between 9 and 3, that's when you should get the bulk of your calories, because your digestion is at its highest and it's going to digest food way more better than if you eat all your meals at midnight, where when your metabolism is at its slowest. So we have our biggest meals in the middle of the day. So that way, not only that, because of our digestion being high, but it's also going to put you in a good mood all day long. You're going to have lots of energy. And for instance, let's say if you go to the gym after work, if you work 9 to 5 and then you're going to come to the gym at 6 o'clock, you're going to have lots of energy because you just had a lot of food throughout the day, especially carbs. So I know people love carbs. So, I mean, just a better reason to have more of them. So, I mean, have your carbs throughout the day. It's going to make you have a great mood, great energy. And by the time you get off work or when you go to the gym later on in the day, you're going to have lots of energy to go work out, and you've had a lot of protein, carbs, and fat. So you're feeling full, good mood, great energy the entire time. So just want to touch up on that. Last note is that if you're the type of person that skips breakfast, has light lunches, and then like you come home and then you have like a really big meal like at 9 o'clock at night, that's when your metabolism's at its lowest. So then you go to bed with a full stomach, and then when you sleep, your metabolism isn't going that well, your food doesn't digest properly, and that at the end of the day, it just causes toxins. And then I don't want to get into it, but toxins will eventually make you sick and things like that. So like having your biggest meal at the end of the day and then going to bed like soon after on a full stomach, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you that when your food doesn't digest properly, your body will create toxins, and then those toxins create a symptom of some kind, of whatever it might be. So, which leads to sickness and illness. So, I mean, you want to eat all your foods when your metabolism is at its highest, so that way your body promotes digestion and actually can use the nutrients throughout the day. And then at night, that's when you have your lighter meals. So, I'll show you my meal plans next, what I do. But yeah, my last 2 meals a day are usually like yogurt or eggs, something that's meatless, but still high in protein. So I like milk a lot, but that's my preference. But you can always use your own foods that you like, even tofu or even tempeh, high protein foods that are easier to digest. But for the most part, my biggest meals of the day, all my proteins, like my meats, for instance, are going to come in the afternoon. So like when your digestion is at its highest. But again, if you're waiting till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to eat your biggest meal, it's not going to digest properly, and that's what's going to promote your weight gain. So I even notice, like, I'm not perfect all the time, but if for some reason I've had a long day and like my biggest meal, I mean, not saying I have a biggest meal, but say if I do have like a whole plate of eggs or even a late night steak somewhere, I notice that I gain a pound or 2 the next morning. So I mean, eating late at night is going to promote your weight gain. So but eating your biggest meals in the afternoon is going to promote weight loss. So that's just a structure. So but I'm just saying, like, if you can stick to the basic structure, get on a good routine where you eat your biggest meals a day in the middle of the afternoon and have all your meat products between 9 and 3, and then have your lighter proteins at night, that's going to help you lose weight. So lots of tips here, which I'll recover. I'll go over again in the lifestyle tips, but I just want to let you know that when it comes to plugging in your numbers and how you spread this out throughout the day, put the bulk of your calories before 4 p.m. So that's kind of what I do, is like eat all my carbs before 4 p.m. and then after 4 p.m. it's just lighter carbs or no carbs if possible. So, but this whole video is all about how to spread out your numbers across the day, and these are the ideal numbers you go for in each meal. And I'm going to show you how to plug in these numbers for you, and I have all of the cheat sheets and everything, which has all the math done for you as well. So it just makes it easy as possible for you. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.